been burned, I've been broken, still I rise, yeah, the story's been spoken. Every scar just shows what I came through. I'm stronger now, and I shine brand new. The climb was steep, but I held on tight. Step by step, I found my light. Shots fired, but I keep moving, turn the pace, steady grooving. From the ashes, I'm reaching high, altitude living, I'm touching the sky. Shots fired, but I keep moving, turn the pace, steady grooving. From the ashes, I'm reaching high, altitude living, I'm touching the sky. Not my trauma, not my change.
Welcome back to The Rise from Ashes to Altitude, a living, breathing book tour based on my award-winning book, Shots Fired, A Heroine's Memoir. I'm your host, Tracy Lance, and through intimate conversations, behind-the-scenes storytelling, and powerful guest voices, we explore what it really means to rise from trauma, reclaim resilience, and turn wounds into wisdom. Each episode is a tour stop into a different part of the journey that takes us somewhere new, geographically, emotionally, and spiritually, from fire and bullets to forgiveness and elevation. Our mission is to create a space where vulnerability is honored, healing is possible, and every listener is reminded your story carries strength, your voice carries truth, and your scars are no longer wounds. They're beauty marks of survival that make you bulletproof. Today, we open from the Serengeti Plains, where the land exhales forever, where the sky feels endless, and where every step reminds you that life was never meant to be lived small, and everything reminds you that you were made for more. The Serengeti is not just a place, it's a movement, it is memory, it's migration, it's survival, and it is legacy. It is the perfect place to hold today's conversation with Rahel because this land mirrors her life. Born of Tanzania, shaped by transition, guided by purpose, rooted in legacy, and called to freedom. This is the land that raised her before the world tried to redefine her. The land that planted courage in her bones. The land that called her home again through the mountain. She's a woman who doesn't just talk about impact, she creates it. A woman who climbed the mountain not just with her legs, but with her lineage. She's an adventurer, a woman who chose the sacred act of rising to the top, literally. Today's episode is deeply personal for me. Because Rahel is not just a global philanthropist, not just a social entrepreneur, not just a curator of life-changing journeys. She is my sister in the climb. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with this woman. Let's dive into her remarkable story. Please welcome Rahel Matula Williams.
Hi,
Rahel. How are you?
I am great. Oh my goodness, I'm great. I'm so happy I'm here.
I'm so happy you're here too. You look amazing.
Thank you.
So I want to just dive right in because I have so much that I want to cover. You hold a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Loyola University, a Master of Science in International Public Service from DePaul University, and you're an Executive Scholar Certification recipient in Nonprofit Management from Northwestern Kellogg. You presented at Northwestern University as a TEDx speaker on redefining philanthropy, Faces of Change Makers. You're the Director of Innovation and Ideas with one of the largest denominations in the U.S., and a nonprofit development consultant specializing in working with major donors both in the United States and internationally. And that's not all. She is the founder and creative director of Ilava, a social enterprise that uses fashion to inspire and implement global change, and the executive director of Ilava Gives Back, the philanthropic arm of Ilava, working with organizations in Tanzania and Uganda. Her projects include Empowered Girls and Cap AIDS, and the One Girl, One Bite Comfy Period, and the One Girl, One Machine initiatives. You said that people would be surprised to learn that you're an introvert.
Yes.
How does an introvert become a global leader, trip of a lifetime curator, and change maker, and all of the other things that I just named, and you say you're an introvert? How does that even work?
Oh my God. First of all, as I'm listening to you reading my bio, I'm like, this woman is crazy, but that woman is me. But I am, because I get recharged when I'm by myself because I pour so much out.
Yeah.
And so for me, being an introvert means, where do I get my energy? And people do not give me energy. I give my energy out. So I'm actually introvert. I didn't even know I was an introvert until I moved to United States. Of course, doing all these Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, I realized I grew up in a culture where being an introvert was not celebrated. It is probably being an introvert in an African household. In this case, my case being a Tanzanian.
Yeah.
You don't have, what do you mean you need time to by yourself? You share everything, our lives, our cultures, community.
Right.
So everything. So I think I was forced into being extrovert, not realizing that's not who I am. I prefer to be by myself, but then I can be an extrovert when it's needed,
Okay.
and for a good cause, right?
Yes.
So I'm a chameleon. So I do what I need to do,
Yeah.
and then I go
Yeah.
by myself.
Yeah.
I recharge, and not to say I do not like people.
Right.
I do, but people. I mean, I don't want to sound mean. They're eyeing. I don't want to sound mean, but people suck the energy out
They
of
sure.
me.
Yes.
And I could feel it. I could feel when somebody is just, and there's certain group of people and certain people that you actually can feel to your bones. So
Yes.
I actually feel energy, and I can feel when this is not the right one, and when I'm depleted, I
Yes.
need to go somewhere by myself in order to recharge, because what I love and what I'm passionate about, what I truly feel I'm called to do, require me to be with people. So I
Yes.
need to make sure that I am good, so I can do
That's
all
right.
those things I desire to do, and
Yes.
I'm excited to do.
Yes.
So
So
yeah.
what is that? Like I consider you then an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
And I think that because you pour so much into other people all the time, it's just your time to decompress and just step away from the spotlight, being there for everybody else, and then taking the time for your own self-care. Mm-hmm. What do you do to refill your cup then?
You know, I don't do anything like Grant. You will not believe I can go home, go to my bedroom, turn off the light, and look at the ceiling, and I'm so content.
Yeah.
My favorite time is that I go home, I light my candle, I pour a glass of wine.
Yes.
And I don't want to turn on TV. I don't want to hear a voice. It's so crazy because my poor husband, I can walk in and he's home, and I'm like, and he said, I live here. I'm like, I
Why-
know.
why are you
I
here?
know. Why are you here? So for me, it's really small things. I have no problem going to a spa by myself. I actually prefer go to dinner by myself.
Yes.
I can go to a coffee. I do not need company. So a solo activities refill me. I
Nice.
don't find them weird at all. So at home on a day, at night I shut down. I turn off the TV, turn off the phone. I lay on my bed and I
Quiet.
will look at the ceiling.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that.
Yes.
And I love nature. So if I can go outside in nature, perfect. But if I'm not in nature, I'm not scared of my own thoughts
Yes.
and ideas, and I love to sit with them.
Yeah.
They scared me sometimes, but I'm so comfortable.
Yes.
I'm
That's
so
why you're
comfortable.
such an innovator. What's on your ceiling?
Oh my goodness. So I'm creating a new collection. I'm seeing prints. I'm seeing strategies. I'm seeing
Yes.
marketing strategy, sales strategy, the next trip, the next client. Like it's a beautiful ceiling.
Yes.
It is actually a beautiful
Yes,
ceiling.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
I'm talking about it, I'm smiling. I'm like, oh my
Yes,
God.
exactly.
I'm not overwhelmed.
Right.
By my
it
mind.
gives you relaxation and it
actually
gives you
does.
that sense of calm
Yeah.
and peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So beyond all of the titles, before the degrees, before Ilava, before the mountain, take us back to your upbringing in Tanzania. What was it like for you back then?
Oh my goodness. So I had a great childhood, right? I shared this with others. So I came to United States when I was 12, right? Growing up in Tanzania, family, friends, outdoor activities, going to the village, visiting my grandparents. That was just, I didn't even know, I shared this on my TED Talk. I did not know I was poor until I came to United States, right?
Yes.
I did not know. Life was good.
Yeah.
And so being a tomboy, I love playing soccer. And I share with people that stories all the time. Only came to United States to realize soccer was a sport of privilege and for the rich people.
Yes.
Because you could not just go outside and play soccer. Where in Tanzania, at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, every child from the block comes outside and you play. You call each other, you play, you go back home and take a shower. Day's over.
Yes.
Here I'm told, I'm like, oh, you need special shoes, you need special equipment, you need to join a club. I'm like,
yes.
And then so for me, it was a joyful childhood. I had a lot of cousins. My parents both worked. People found really interesting. I was raised by nannies. Yes.
Were you?
So in a lot of African culture, middle class, having living in nanny, it was such a normal thing. So yeah, I grew up. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked for the government. So we went to school and we had a nanny. So when I moved to United States, now I'm told I'm poor. I'm come from poverty-stricken country. They are lions and no running water. I'm like, well, I never fetched water a day in my life. What are y'all talking about?
Yes.
So I did not know until, perspective, right?
Yes.
What it means to be poor.
Right.
So I had good childhood, right?
Yes.
I had family was center. Traveling to the countryside. My parents made sure that we knew both sides of the family. My parents come from 2 different tribes. So traveling during the summer and Christmas with our cousins, visiting our grandparents. It was just a beautiful childhood that I did not think there was nothing wrong with it until I came to United States. Then I was told, oh yeah, you poor.
Why? So it was for a 12-year-old. You had a great foundation growing up in Tanzania. Then you come here, and then there's a huge culture shock. Now, had you been in the United States before you actually moved here? That was the first time you ever experienced.
I'm trying to think even if I went to another country. So I've never left the country. Grew up in Tanzania, never left it. So United States was the first. So I remind you, at 12, you already, biology-wise, you're going through puberty. So it's not like... So, don't speak English, do not understand the culture. I think next week, actually, December 11th, is 34 years since I've been to the United States. And it was winter just like today here in Chicago.
So you came here from the heat.
And it's hot in December in Tanzania. Hot.
And then besides the cold, what did America feel like for you when you got off the plane and got here?
Oh my God. It was no books, no movie can prepare you, a 12-year-old, what you will see, right? And I remember this after it's been 2 years, almost 2 years since we saw our parents. So my sister and I came. My parents came in 89. Now it's 91. So it's been 2 years since I've seen my parents.
Oh, they came here before you.
Yes. They left us behind with my auntie.
Yeah.
With my auntie. And then they came here, had our little brother without even us knowing. I guess they were supposed to consult me. So not only I came to United States and I have a brother who's 9 months old. And I found out probably 6 months before I came that I actually have a brother. I did not know my mom was pregnant. They didn't send picture. My mom gave birth to a little boy. Did not know. Get a picture in the mail. By the way, you have a little brother. So now I call it trauma. Then I have no words for it. That identity, I'm no longer the last born, really messed me up because I held that like a badge of honor. Like, I'm a last born. It's just me and my sister, and I'm it.
So it's you, your sister Marcy, and then now Bahati. So not just a culture shock.
You are handling a
but
baby. Mind you, now in the United States, we have no nan. That was another thing. So we have no living in somebody who's going to help us.
Yes.
So who's watching this baby?
That becomes you and Marcy.
Bingo. So yeah, I became the nanny, the caregiver, everything. Do you understand? All of that in the split of a second. American culture kicks in really fast. Now I'm trying to learn the language. I'm trying to adjust. It was hard. Probably the hardest. Now looking back,
Yeah.
Kids are mean. Kids are very mean.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is a funny story. So what did you need most then during that whole transition? A nanny.
Yeah, because I did not know I had to. I remember my dad asking me to fix something. I will never forget. He asked me to cook something, a very traditional Tanzanian meal.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at him like, I don't know how to cook because I never cooked. In Tanzania, I did not cook.
Right.
And then here I am. I'm learning how to cook. I'm learning to take care of myself because I did not do that in Tanzania. That's a lot of people found that very hard because I'm like, they just assume what you see on TV, every little girl is struggling.
Yes. That is what we think, because that's all they show us. Unless I looked at Africa differently once I was there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, these people they're the richest people, and the culture is the richest culture that, outside of what they depict on TV. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole misconception.
Yeah. So that was, I would say that. And then also I would say the language barrier, right? Not being able to communicate or reading, or learning what people actually think of you, right?
Yeah.
I think that really impacted me, and learning a new language and not being shy to make a mistake and be laughed, Yeah. But then I had great teachers. I had amazing English as a second language teacher, and I had a great community. I raised school in Hyde Park because that's where I went. So, but that was hard.
Yes.
Learning a new language and culture, and it was really hard, and not making a mistake, because at 12, you are aware that people are making fun of you.
Yes.
People are laughing at you. The bullying, it was crazy.
You went to private school or public school?
Here
when you got here?
Public, raised school in Hyde Park, and then Kenwood High School. So I was all public, Chicago public school.
So you went there, did you learn English, or did you have to take a whole separate program just to learn English while you were going to school?
Yes, so it was pretty much double education. So you went to class in the morning, and then in the afternoon, everybody who's learning English as a second language or third language will go to a special teacher that did all the learning all the language. So we did that. So we had what I used to call our little UN, because there were people from different countries. I remember we go from Brazil, Mexico, Argentina. We were from Tanzania, Ethiopia. So we had a nice international community. All of us learned. So that became our little clique.
So Rahel, they say that the first soil your feet touch is the soil that never leaves you. What are the scents, sounds, and rhythms that you still carry in your body today from Tanzania?
Oh, wow. I always say the rain. I love the rain. So the roofs, what is this? The roof of our homes is meadows. And so when it rains, you can hear, right? You can just hear the sound. I always say only in Africa, Tanzania in my case, all your senses are working when it rains. You can smell the rain, because when it hit the ground, the dust, you can smell it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can taste it. So for me, the rain, the dirt, when the first drop of the rain on dirt, that smell, right now I can just close my eyes and I feel it. And I used to get in trouble because when it rained, I used to be that girl who, when it rained, I would go outside and just play in the rain. And I remember now, I wonder why I stopped. I really used to enjoy when it started raining, I would run outside with my clothes and just play in the rain in the pot and just get dirty.
That just reminded me of when we were on the mountain and going through the rainforest. You were in your element.
I was not. Now it's
Yes.
funny you're talking about, and I'm thinking like it did not bother me at all.
No.
Because
They're like, let's get our raincoats on. Hurry up, get the raincoat. And you're like, I don't need a raincoat.
it's the only time I'm not running away from the rain when I'm in Tanzania.
That's so interesting. But I do remember the rain, and I do remember feeling cleansed, and I do remember my senses coming alive when it was raining on the mountain. And then the smells, you could smell things a lot more. You could hear. Because then the birds were chirping, and the wildlife in the forest, they came out like they were happy. They were like the monkeys and those red monkeys that came out, and everything started. It's like life
begins when it rains.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of Mount Kilimanjaro, for me, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was a journey of reconnecting with God, the earth, pushing my limits, and confronting fears. Did growing up in Tanzania shape your sense of adventure and your courage to take risks?
Actually, no. That is so crazy. No, because in our culture, sadly enough, you are raised to fit. You are almost like your desires are secondary. The greater good of the community and family comes first. So you are conditioned at a very young age to make sure that everything is good for everybody. Then you talk about your dreams, right?
Wow.
So the climbing of Mount Kilimanjaro, even though I had thought about it, I had the desire, I never thought it was possible. I even talk about it because in my blogging, because I was like, I kept putting it off because everything else need to be taken care of first.
Yes.
Then my desire. So, no, it was not growing up. It was not something that was like, you want to do this, you should do this. It was more like, people actually questioned me. A lot of my family like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you spending money to do this? Why are you spending time to do this?
I remember you saying that being like, you have that kind of money to climb the mountain. And you're like, yeah, I want to do this. I am going to do this.
It's my desire. So sadly enough, I always say this to people. That which nourishes you can also destroy you. I grew up in such a beautiful culture, yes. But my culture also sometimes prevented me to really know what does Rahel really want. Is this Rahel's desire, or you are fulfilling the destiny that your community and your family wants for you? So you find out, hence why, if you ask me then, yeah, I'm an extrovert. Because I was the entertainer of the family. When you had company, people came, your parents parade you, look at what my daughter did. Like you were there to fulfill that.
Yes. Make them feel good, make them feel happy, serve them, make sure that they're okay, they're comfortable.
Yeah, and nobody care, are you good? Can you come in and just say hi and go back to your room? First of all, you didn't have your own room, you share. So that none of those matter. It was for the greater good.
So then how does that affect you now in adulthood?
It does. So moving to United States now, being able to see, not to say one culture is better than another.
Right.
I always tell people the blessing that I have in my life, I was raised in two different cultures. But now, as an adult, I'm able to pick and choose which part I want to continue to have. It does affect how I make decisions and how long it takes me. Hence, it took me, I wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro when I turned 40. But I did at 44 because I was keeping putting off because everything else kept coming up. And it came to a point like, can I just climb because I want to?
That's right.
Is that good enough? I felt like I need a dissertation to defend my why. Right. And it was like, no, I don't need that.
No.
I want is more than enough.
That's right.
For me to do something. Right. So, sadly enough, I grew up in the culture. Your wants were not encourage. You did what was good for the greater good.
Wow. So, somewhere along the way, your life didn't just become professional, it became purposeful. Let's talk about your Ilava initiatives. It sounds like that whole giving back to others, that was your foundation. What pain were you trying to solve that inspired you to birth Ilava?
Poverty. I think going back when I mentioned, like, I did not know I was poor until somebody said, "Oh, you're poor. You from Africa? Do you guys do this?" And so poverty was that, and then also just understanding equality and equitable. Like,
Yeah.
what does it mean? Why haves and have not? So I recall, I've always knew I wanted to do something that would take me back home, but I did not know what it was. And I remember it was a graduate school project. I was actually in study abroad in Kenya. And I used to bother me a lot in my DePaul education. Professor will, when we would learn about development in the continent of Africa, we use this word unskilled. Like, these are unskilled workers. We learned that a lot during COVID. Skilled, essential worker, and non-essential worker. Like, who's skilled, who's not skilled, right?
Right.
So I remember that, and I remember unskilled work were those, those women who just bake good and sold, make clothes and sold to the, like, all these small businesses, right?
Yes.
But it was those business that kept the lights on. It was those business that fed the family. It was that woman who made that local liquor to sold in the neighborhood to pay for their children university fees.
Yes.
Right? So name an African leader that is the leader that we admire today, and they will tell you their story and their journey to their education to become this global leader came because some woman baked something, sold something, did some unskilled work for them to be where they are. So for me, I'm like, how can they be unskilled?
Right.
If what they do produce these global leaders.
Yes.
There's nothing unskilled about them.
Because skilled means I've gone to school for it, I'm certified in it, I have credentials that are supported. But then some life experiences and that you grow up doing, that makes you skilled. I might not have a certification or I may not have gone to school for it, but I know how to do this because I've been doing it all my life.
And it's making an impact and it's providing for my family, it's educated. So for me, it bothered me to call women who made things happen, who kept their family, educate their children, grandchildren, unskilled. I'm like, there's nothing unskilled about them. And I want to make sure that their product and what they do, people hear their stories and their product finds the market. And I was like, what can I do? And I was like, what? I like fashion. Let's start there.
Yes.
So that's how it came. It came for me. I had the audacity to say there's nothing unskilled about this group of people. They are very skilled, and they're the reason why we have the leaders that we have today. Because again, name one leader, and I'll show you a woman behind their success. Because it was either their auntie, their mother, their grandmother did some awkward, so-called unskilled work in order for them to be who they are today.
Yes.
So you cannot celebrate them and not celebrate those women or name those women.
Yes.
And that to me was the whole thing about poverty and unskilled workers.
Yes.
Like, that bothered me. I'm like, there's nothing unskilled about them.
Yes.
If I can make you this jacket.
I was about to say, why fashion?
Because for me, it's a talking point, right?
Yeah.
When you notice, like, I walked into them like, oh my goodness, you look great.
Yes.
What do you have on? It's like, it's an entry way to get to know people. Even though we made it very shallow, it can be shallow, it can be all of that. But it's entry. Everybody can see it. Everybody, regardless. And when people say, I don't care for fashion, well, you should. Because it's your statement.
Right.
It's your statement piece. Before you open your mouth, before anything, somebody sees
That's
you.
exactly right. Yes.
And you can make people feel good.
Yes.
And then if there's a story behind, so when I wear a lava piece, I get to tell the story, who made it.
Yes.
And how it was made it, and where the proceeds are going, and the impact that it's making.
Yes.
That's my goal, is to tell their story.
Yes, I love to see when you're highlighting a new piece and you're modeling it, or your sister is modeling it, or somebody in this beautiful piece that looks like artwork. It looks like you're literally wearing artwork. So I could see those things becoming a conversation starter, talking to people. And then you get to promote and, like you said, talk about where this piece was made, because all of your pieces are made in Tanzania, right?
Yeah. Yeah, everything is made in Tanzania, and also knowing that the giving back component. So I when I did a co-head with Goldman and Sachs, and I remember they were tearing up my business model, and they were like, Rahel, you may want to rethink this giving back component, because you cannot give right now because you're not making,
Right.
and from business perspective, it makes so much sense. But I was like, but the problem I'm trying to solve right now cannot wait for that.
That's right.
And I'm like, this has to work. And I always say to my sister, we may have like the worst business model out here, or the best, because we give from gross, not from profit.
That's right.
So it has to be built into that. So knowing that I can look good and also making an impact in a little girl's life, whether through the one girl, one bike, providing transportation, or comfy period. Believe it or not, there are girls right now in Tanzania, they will miss 7 days out of the month from going to school because they cannot afford sanitary pad.
Right. Okay. So I remember that story, and it gave me goosebumps. And I think I first heard it on the mountain with you, and could not believe that you have children out here who are missing school. Girls, mind you.
Girls.
Because they don't have protection when they start their cycles every month.
So you know what happened to them? If you do that, you will fall behind, and you wonder why girls.
That's right. Every month, you're missing 7 days of school.
Yeah.
Is that one girl, one bike?
So there in Tanzania, 2 things that cause girls not to go to school.
Okay.
Transportation.
Okay.
So the one girl, one bike, we provide bikes for girls who live far to be able to go to school.
Oh my
easy.
goodness, that is amazing.
And then the comfy period, the sanitary pads. So just imagine if you live far and you have a cycle. That is like double issues for you to be able to cope. So we partner with the local organization who are working on these things, and when people shop with the lava, we put 10% of that into these programs. And
oh my goodness, I have to shop with the lava a little bit more, just because of that philanthropic component of what you do. It just reminded me of when I was in Africa. We were in a car. I don't know if Ephraim was driving or who was driving, but we were in a car.
Definitely not us. We were not driving.
We were driving somewhere, and there was a girl on the side of the road. She was on her way to college, but she was kind of like soliciting a ride. And so the drivers pulled over and let her get in our car, because they don't have a specific
bus.
They just want you to take them as far as you can take them, just so they can inch closer and closer and closer to their destination. And I thought it was weird, because we here wouldn't be so open to letting somebody in our car, some random stranger into the car. But it was so normal for this driver.
So let me put a pin on that. It is so normal for that, but guess what? A lot of girls get abused and raped in that journey too. Because not everybody who gives these girls the ride have a good intention.
That's right. And that's what I was thinking. Like, is she just getting in the car with anybody?
It's a risk the girls are taking, and it's bad. Not everybody is good. But then guess what? They feel like they have no other
They don't have any other choice. But then now they have one girl, one bike, a comfy period. And you are the one who created this brand. So how do you solicit? You have donations where people send in, you know, sanitary things that you send over?
So no, and the beauty of this is it's all local led. So what we did, because we are in Chicago, Elava is based here in Chicago, and all these programs are in Tanzania. So we had to find a local organization in Tanzania that can monitor these projects, that can evaluate, follow up. So we work with a local organization in Tanzania who oversees all of this. So we are not, that's another
Nice.
important thing. You cannot just do it by yourself. You have to make sure that you have local experts who are on the ground who are overseeing that. So we have two organizations in Tanzania that we work closely with who monitor this. So our job here is to raise funds, awareness, and invite people to learn more. And
Yes.
whether you shop through 11, then a percentage of your sale, what you purchase go towards this project, or you can just do tax deductible donation through 11 Gives Back.
Wow.
Hence why we had to open the 11 Gives Back, because sometimes somebody say, I'm not shopping this month, but I do want to support the
Yeah, I
bike.
just wanna make a donation.
So you can
Yes.
do that. So for us here is more of a education, awareness, and educating people and connecting people. And
Yes.
I tell, one of my goal is to some of the schools that we work with, these girls, I'm like, what would it be like to have a high school here, adopt a high school there, or have a pen pal program. The girls can connect with one another. So those are some of my dreams. And you ask what's in my ceiling when
I
I'm
love
laying down,
that.
thinking, like dreaming. Those kind of thing I think about.
Yes,
Like,
I love that. You are closing the gap. Were you affected by that when you were growing up in Tanzania, where you couldn't go to school for 7 days?
No, that's the thing. I did not grow. I didn't even know that was possible. I did not. I was not affected at all. I was fine.
Because you guys were rich.
Yeah, I was rich. I was rich apparently.
Yeah.
I did walk to school though, but with my friends, my school was not far, but we did walk. But it was not.
Yeah.
I was not in danger
Yes.
from going to school. I'm not doing this because that's another thing. A lot of people be like, so were you affected by this? I was like, no, I don't need to be affected.
That's right.
In order for me to do,
Yes.
I don't have to be a victim of
Yes.
those circumstances in
Yes.
order for me to do this. Like,
Yes.
never fetch water. My parents were two-household, professional. I'm
Yes.
not bragging, but that's not the reason why I'm doing it.
Yes, I like that. I
yeah.
like that. You don't have to be affected by it in order to reach back and help.
And I will add this because I'm very aware, though, I didn't do anything special to have the life that I have. That could easily be me, too. Mm-hmm. Like, it could easily be me.
Yeah.
So I'm in a position to tell their story, to do something better, and why not?
Yes. So, Rahel, let's get into the mountain.
Yes.
Before we even touched the mountain, something else was already moving. God had already started calling me, and I truly believe God used you as a vessel to get me to that mountain. So for me, this climb didn't begin with hiking boots. It began with signs, with whispers, with moments of alignment that couldn't be explained, only felt. There were these kismet signs. There are no coincidences, right? It's just God. So there were confirmations stacked on top of each other, doors opening at the same time, and you played a pivotal part in me climbing that mountain. So there was a voice that kept tapping my spirit saying, you need to climb the mountain before you finish your book. And I was ignoring it. There was a voice, it just kept talking to me. And I was talking back saying, I'm not doing that. So I never wanted to even climb a mountain. Had no idea where Mount Kilimanjaro was. I was a marathoner, not a mountain climber. Then one day, something unexplainable happened. If you know me, you know I love Oprah. I stumbled into an episode of Super Soul Sunday where Oprah was interviewing Ashford and Simpson. You know that who made Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And at the very end of the show, Oprah said, your Mount Kilimanjaro awaits. That had been the second kismet sign, right? The screen froze and my computer glitched and it replayed over and over and over and over again. And I couldn't log out. And only when I closed the computer screen was when she stopped talking. I looked up, where is Mount Kilimanjaro? Since these signs keep happening, where is it? When I found out it was in Africa, it was further confirmed for me that I'm not climbing a mountain. So my next excuse became, I don't have time to plan a trip to Africa. I don't want to finish this book, and that's what I want to do. So here's where you came in. after me trying to reason my way out of God's assignment, you came to my treatment room for your skincare service. And you were so grateful that I could fit you in. It was last minute, and you were so grateful. I'm like, yeah, you could come today. I remember it was a Wednesday. You were leaving for Tanzania on that following Thursday. And so I wanted you to come in because I had plans on talking to you. I'm like, I'm going to ask her about Africa. I'm going to ask her about Mount Kilimanjaro. And when I did, my heart dropped. So you said, oh, I'm leaving for Tanzania tomorrow. Thank you so much for letting me come in. I needed these services before I left. And then when I started talking to you about Tanzania and climbing the mountain, do you know anything about climbing the mountain? Tell me what you know about Tanzania.
That is so amazing. I remember that day because I was about to begin my sabbatical and I've been planning this trip, Mount Kilimanjaro climbing, and everybody dropped. No, none of my friends. They're like, nope, we're not doing it. No. We'll meet you at the bottom. We'll go on a safari. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to do it by myself. So I was ready to go. And I come to you. I get my service. And I remember, and I was like, you start talking about Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. I'm just sitting there getting my, and I say, you know, we're from Tanzania, right? And you know, that's home, right? He was like, and I was like, what if I tell you I'm planning to climb this in February 2023. This was good, like, it was the fall of 2022, I think.
Yes, when we had the conversation.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere October.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to Tanzania day after tomorrow to finalize everything. And you looked at me like you've seen a ghost because I was like, not thinking like you actually ready to go.
You
like
scared me.
And I'm like, but also because for me, I was like, oh, here we go. Another person talking about they want to go. And then they're going to tell me they're not going. So I was not even getting excited. Like somebody saying, yes, they would take the. So I was just like, yeah. And I did not think you would do it. And it was just like, we could not have masterminded. That's when you know it's God. And I'm a woman of faith, so I'm not ashamed to say,
right,
like, just do your part and let it be, because there is no way. Yeah, and I remember saying, like, it's all done. I'm already planning it. I have the dates. I have everything set. And it's just, I'm finalizing few things. And you just looked at me like.
I was dumbfounded because you said none of my friends wanted to climb with me, so I didn't feel like I was overtaking your journey. You know, I felt like you wanted somebody to be there with you.
I did.
And then I think I was behind your head doing your facial when we were having the conversation, and my heart dropped, and I looked up to the sky like, oh my God, this is the sign. This means that I'm really going to Tanzania. Because remember, I said I don't have time to plan this.
I was like, don't worry, I got it.
And then I told you, I don't care when you're going, how much it costs. I'm going to climb with you. You didn't even believe me. You were probably thinking
again, because
she's
people
just talking.
keep putting it off and canceling it, and everybody like, I got this, I got that, my dog, my cat, my baby. I was like, all right, then.
Yes. So what does it feel like to know that you were the last confirmation God sent before I ever even touched the mountain?
Oh, wow. I never even thought about that. It is, I don't take that gift of connectivity.
Yeah.
Lightly, because it's important to know that just be obedient to what you are called to do, because you never know who, like, we all connected, and you may be just the missing puzzle or link to somebody else's dream. So I would say it is an honor. It's not something I take like, oh my God, I'm the reason why I trust. No, I believe that mountain you was gonna climb that mountain regardless.
Yes.
I'm just honored that I got to be part of your story. To me, that's how I see life, right? I don't see it as like, oh, this is my privilege. It is without, I used to be in fundraising. We have this language. It always bothered me when we tell donor, if it was not for you, this will never happen. It bothers me because I'm like, the work that we get to do and the life that we get to experience is a gift from God.
Yes.
And if it's yours, God will use anybody and anything for it to come to pass. So for you to be a part of that, it's an honor that God saw fit that I'll be a part of your story.
Yes.
So I don't take that lightly, like, oh, it's me. I made that happen. It's more like, thank you for being part of your journey and for God to bring us together because we needed each other.
Yes.
And
yes.
we didn't even know we needed each other.
Yes. And even after you were gone and I had to go back and climb, you were still there for me. I still felt your presence and your spirit right there with me. But thank you for your obedience that I got to take a trip of a lifetime that I don't think that any other trip that I would ever take, I don't think that it will ever top climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. But yes, a couple of weeks after you got back, you gave us the itinerary. You gave us everything. I think all we had to do was write the check.
Mm-hmm. And book your flight.
Yes. And I also think that we were your first clients.
Yeah.
Right? We were your
first
clients for your curated trips. Yes. So tell us what made you start curating these trips for these unforgettable moments for people to experience.
First, I love my country. I love Tanzania. I want people to experience Tanzania. I tell people we don't explore Tanzania, we experience Tanzania.
Yes.
And also when you are there, it's more just about being tourist. It's about connecting with the people, with the culture and everything else. So I want to, and people have been asking me every time I go to Tanzania, like, next time you go, I want to come. So like, I'm an entrepreneur. I see solution and opportunities.
Yes.
So that was one, to showcase my home country to people to experience Tanzania the way I know it. And also because of the Ilava product, people always ask, again, remember fashion, like, oh, I like your jacket.
Yes.
I'm like, what is that? Tanzania? It's made in Tanzania. And like, where's Tanzania? Oh, I've never been. I'm like, you should.
Yeah, right. So you only curate trips to Tanzania. That's it.
Tanzania. And I've done Rwanda because I have experience in Rwanda. So I am not a travel agent.
Right.
I am a curator who wants to experience. And I was doing it. I was doing it for free. I was doing it for people. I will consult people like, oh, I'm going to Tanzania. I was looking at the itinerary from the travel agent. I'm like, don't do this, don't do that. I will not take this route. So I was doing it.
So you don't go with them. You just give instruction. You give
and I connect
some of the cultural things that you need to know.
And I'll book your hotel. I'll connect you with my team in Tanzania. And I have people that I've done.
Yes.
If you want me to come with you, it may cost you more because now you got a personal tour guide.
That's right.
You got a personal tour guide to go with you. So I have two ways. Like, I can just look at your itinerary and give you advice because I want you to go to Tanzania and come back and be like, that was an amazing trip. I don't want you to go there because of logistic.
Yes.
And just, not knowing, like, you should have done safari before Zanzibar, like all those unknowns, like that makes or break a vacation, right?
Rahel, look, for that to be your first curated trip with us, let me testify that it was the most amazing experience ever. I don't think that we missed any great feature of our visit to Tanzania. We went on the 5-day safari that you curated. We stayed at different hotels for each safari adventure we took, and you planned that out. That was no easy task, right? Because you were there, Michaela, Lance, and did John come with us? I don't think John was there.
That's fine.
But for several people, you planned this out. You had our driver. Matter of fact, I went to Zanzibar prior to going to Tanzania. You planned out my whole trip, where I was going to stay at in Zanzibar. You put me with a driver who was amazing, by the way.
Yes,
he partied with me on the beach. I felt like he was my brother who came with me, and because you wouldn't put me with anybody who you didn't know. And it made me feel so safe because everywhere I wanted to go, he was right there at my beck and call. He called and checked on me even the times that I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to stay on the beach and do my own thing. He checked in on me. You called and you checked. And then when it was time for me to fly over to Tanzania, you had that all curated. There was not one glitch, Rahel. Every place we stayed was top tier, top notch. And if you want to plan a trip to Tanzania, call Rahel.
Yes.
Like you said, you're not a travel agent. You just plan. You curate the whole experience.
Yes.
And once again, that was my testimony.
Thank you. Oh, it means a lot.
Yes, and I don't believe any other trip on earth will ever top that experience. And I'm forever grateful to you for that. So for me, the mountain was not just about elevation. It was about identity, history, survival, and healing. What did Mount Kilimanjaro represent for you?
For me, it was my want. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up in the culture. My desire and my wants are secondary.
Yes.
And
you wanted to do it.
And I wanted
and you did
and
it.
I did. And that to me, that is symbolized a lot of things.
Yes.
It symbolized a lot of things that I never thought they bothered me, or I never thought like I need to work on. Like my desires are important, and you don't need to constantly live in a society where you're explaining yourself.
Yes.
And then the mountain also represents the calmness of life, right? I reflect in my blogging and I was like, mountains just there.
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm like, sometimes just be still.
Yes.
Let people go around you, go around the circle, just be still. And it's majestic, calm, rough.
Yes, calm down. Pole.
Pole. Yes, that's life, right? Pole means
slowly. Yes.
Slowly, just.
Yes.
I tell people, so for me it was answering and putting myself first.
Yes.
And my desires and my whys are important. And sometimes I want is more than enough.
Yes, I love that. So let's talk about the moment that still lives in both of us.
Okay.
That moment when we were climbing and I had to turn back.
Ooh-wee.
When they told me my body couldn't go forward, but my spirit really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts when you realized that you were going to keep going and I had to descend?
My first thought was this. I said, God, I was so okay in climbing this mountain by myself. And then you brought Tracy. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me she cannot go all the way. What was the point? Because at that moment, before you said yes, I made up in my mind, this is going to be a solo personal. And I was okay with it. But then when you said yes, I was like, yes. So now in the middle of this trip, I have to do, and granted, our guides were amazing.
Yes, they were.
But there's something different when
they're working.
Yes, it's not the same.
It's not.
You are never alone in sense where you are alone solo, because the guys, they port, and then when you are going to the top, all the porters are not there. So it's just you and your.
That's
so
right.
I was like, oh my goodness. I remember crying but I could not cry because it was so cold.
It was so cold, our tears would freeze up.
But then I was scared. I was so scared. But then I was happy that you're okay. First and foremost, I need you to be safe.
Yes.
And I'm looking like, no way, nobody. We are not about to make tombstone in this mountain.
That's
no
right.
way.
That's right. I did not want that to be my burial site.
No. So I was really scared. And I was like, and I had to shift my mindset really quickly.
Yes, because you need. We learned that on that mountain, every single thing you do, you're exerting energy. And you have to save all of the energy to get to the peak of that mountain. Mm-hmm. So did you feel pressure when you found that you had to represent both of us getting to the top of that mountain?
Actually, I did not.
Good.
I did not. Honestly, I remember asking you. You left me the purple
The purple scarf,
scarf,
my mom's scarf.
your mom's scarf. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, give me that. I'll take that with you,
Yes.
with me. No, I did not, because I also knew wherever I was gonna end, that was gonna be my mountaintop. So I've never been the type of person. Yes, I want to reach Uhuru Peak.
Yes.
But then I was never been the person like if
Yeah.
I don't, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I could not afford to think negative.
That's right.
Because I do that really well.
Yes.
With my crazy brain. At that moment, for the first time, I think, during that mountain climb, those 6 days?
Yes.
I was living in the moment, and it is so hard for me to live in the moment.
Yes, but you could tell when we were climbing, you were just in your zone. We came together at times, but then I would go off in my zone and my deep thought, and you would do the same thing. But the one thing that I do remember you saying to me is what you just said. You looked at me and you held my hands and you said, "Look, right here where you stopped at, that is your peak."
That's your peak.
And that made me, it's like a load was, because I felt pressure when I in my mind, she has to go and take this hike by herself without me, and I have to turn around. So yes, I felt the pressure, but I'm glad you didn't feel pressure, because you couldn't afford to, like you said, you couldn't afford to feel the pressure.
No.
When you made it to the top, what was going on in your mind?
I said, God damn, this is it. I said, it was so beautiful. And the day was so clear. I remember that day was so beautiful. It was so clear. And I was like, I am at the top of roof of Africa, the
Yes.
highest point in the continent of Africa. And I'm looking around, I'm like, OMG, what is on another side? I'm like,
Yes.
whoa, that's Kenya over there. Don't go over there. But I'm looking like, it felt like, is this what I've been looking for? And then I realized it was not that space. It was the whole journey.
Yes.
And then I started like, oh man, I should have taken a picture. We're not going back the same way. I should have done this. I start thinking about the moment that I have rushed and missed. Because as much as you are trying to reach that peak.
Yes. And it's cold as ever. Your mind is not even thinking clearly.
No.
So all you're thinking at some point, I got to get to this peak. Especially Stella Point. I'm still so pissed off with Stella Point. Because I don't even see the purpose in that. Because when I turned
It's a
around, I think I
teaser.
was 500 feet away from the peak, right? When we hear 500 feet, we think, girl, you could have made the rest of that.
That
But
could be 3 hours.
Yes, that was another what? And I think from the time that we parted, it took you another 6 hours to get to the peak.
Because we start summiting, it was at midnight, right?
Yes, yes.
And I did not reach Uhuru Peak until 10 or something.
In the-
and it's
the next
only
morning.
from where we started to where it is, not even
Yes.
5 miles.
Yes, that's right.
And it took you almost 8 hours
Yes.
to get there.
I would not have made that. I just would
I
not
remember
have.
coming back and you was like, how long? I was like, there's no way.
I would not have made that. But speaking of when you came back, I remember laying in the tent, and the way that my tent was positioned, I could see the little specks of people coming off of the mountain. And then when I saw you with that yellow scarf, I'm like, there she is. And then I just think I watched you all the way until you got to the campsite, which took forever. I think I was able to take a nap and you still weren't back yet. But when you got back, I was so proud of you. I heard the porters, they started singing. And then I think that's what woke me up. And I remember just us embracing. I was telling you how proud of you I was. I think I presented you with a medal.
My medal.
Yes.
Actually, Kendrick has it now. I gave it to my little nephew. I'm like, okay, Kendrick, you next. He's in my nephew's room.
Oh my goodness.
My brother my brother wanted, and I was like, no, by heart, I'm not going to give it to you. And he was like, it's for Kendrick. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, he can have it.
He can have
anything for him. Mm-hmm. Okay, the real question.
Yes.
Would you climb again?
Yeah.
You would?
I would.
I wouldn't.
You did it twice. You know what? We need to figure it out. Statistic. I wonder how many people have done it, unless they are working. How many have done what you have done? Because now what you have done, I could have never done.
So I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro two times in a 2-week period.
Yeah.
I came down when we finally got off of the mountain. First of all, I was so ready to get off the mountain. And yes. I remember we were at the lodge and we met in the atrium part of the lodge. You were sitting out having your tea. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I said, Rahel, I'm going back up.
I will never forget that day when you told me your why. I was like, what did you do? I said,
yeah,
no way.
Yes,
now
way.
That, I would have, see, you're good. I would never, no. No, at that moment, I'm looking at my toe was gone, was black. I was like, no way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes. Going up a second time, which I always say, I believe God needed me to have a solo journey to the top of the mountain, which is why he summoned me there in the first place. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And that's probably why I wouldn't go back again, because I would not change that whole entire experience for anything. I don't even want anything to potentially erase the experience that I had when I did those sense. 2 climbs. I don't want to top that, because you can't top that. So I'm good. I'm rejoicing, and I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. See, I will go back. No, I hear you. Even what you were saying, like, yeah, for you was like there was a chapter, there was a reason, and that is done.
Yep, you can't.
I want to go over there and do a photo shoot, I want to do a photo shoot, like a fashion show, like some.
Oh my goodness, I could completely see that.
Yeah,
because
I know exactly where to.
Yes, we were fortunate enough to have John on the mountain with us.
Yes,
John is a local photographer, professional photographer in Tanzania. We had him. I mean, he captured some of the most amazing pictures of us that we see in this beautiful photo book of yours. But I just want to point out, see the green hiking sticks that you gave me? Those were your hiking sticks that you gave me on the mountain, because mine broke. And when I decided to go back up, you gave me all of your gloves. And I'm like, because I gave all of my stuff away. Yes, we donated it to the porters. My boots, we donated everything. So you started collecting your things when you found that I was going back up. And I don't know if you ever wanted those hiking sticks back, but if you would just be so gracious to just gift those to me.
You can have them.
Now, if you go back up and you want to borrow them from me, you could borrow them.
I know exactly where to get the hiking stick. Yes. But you can definitely have. They found a beautiful home. They belong here.
Thank you so much, Rahel. I want to thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey from a little girl in Tanzania to America, from social enterprise to global change maker, to the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro, to the heart of philanthropy. A bridge between worlds. Your life has been a migration of courage, from survival to service, from dream to discipline. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I just want to say, you didn't just climb a mountain. You carried legacy up with you. You carried the prayers of girls who don't know yet what's possible for them. And I'm holding this book, and your face is on the front cover of this book for the little girls who are not represented on that mountain. Because I think you and I were the only 2 Black women on the mountain. Everybody else was other. And you don't see our faces climbing mountains. But for you to put this beautiful book together to represent that no matter what color you are, you can climb the mountain, whether it's metaphorical or literally going to climb the mountain. I've been holding this book the whole show since you gave it to me because of how beautiful it is. This book is for sale. You are selling this book. This book is amazing. And it's just a photo picture book that inspired me to take my beautiful photos from Mount Kilimanjaro and do the same thing and put a photo book together. But thank you for the inspiration. It is amazing, and I can't put it down.
Thank you.
But even on the mountain, like I said, you didn't just climb the mountain. You carried legacy up with you. You carried the prayers of girls who don't know yet what's possible. And when I couldn't go any further, you carried the climb for both of us. And I thank you, Rahel. Your life teaches us that you do not need permission to become who you already are. And the Serengeti teaches us something sacred, that nothing stays still, that everything migrates, that survival requires movement, and that purpose always finds its way back home. Thank you so much. It was such an honor having you come on The Rise, and I appreciate your time, and this was so fun, Rahel.
Thank you so much for having me. And now, if you could sign my book, finally.
Yes, I'll sign your book.
I brought it back so you can sign it. Thank you.
And you
so
gotta
much.
sign my book.
No worries.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Rahel. So from the Serengeti Plains to reaching the summit of your life's purpose, may every listener standing at the edge of your own mountain remember this truth. The view from the top is worth every step. I want is more than enough. Trying is enough. Showing up is enough. And it can be done. Remember, the journey to healing isn't a straight climb, but every step forward matters. So wherever you are on your journey, feel it, face it, trust that something greater is always waiting on the other side. Thank you for giving yourself the gift of exploring what it really means to survive, to heal, and to rise. Let's take this journey, keep traveling, and rise together. We'll see you at the peak.
I'm touching the sky, not my trauma, not my chains. Turn the struggle into gain.